helping banks to go through a regulation process and give a strategic advice on payment issues for merchants, for companies like payment service providers and banks, and that led us to go deeply into regulation, EU regulation. So we are monitoring advices and helping clients to actively engage with the European Union to be heard of their concerns on certain topics like PSD2, AML directives and payment-related topics. At the moment, Europe is under a lot of changes. Just talking about Brexit, regulation is shaping up the whole industry. We have licensed and unlicensed, regulated and unregulated entities. The European Union and the regulators obviously prefer companies to be regulated. One would think coming to Europe, to the European Union, there is one standard for every member state of the 27, I would say, without the UK. However, this is completely not the case. Every country has very different approaches on regulation, and they execute the European plan, and they obviously have to execute the European rules. However, they can stretch it a little bit. Let's say Luxembourg has a very different approach than Lithuania towards payment service providers, while Germany would be very strict and restricted on new coming business. The Germans would not make it very easy for a fintech coming to Europe and choosing Germany as their hub destination, while Lithuania or Luxembourg would be very welcoming. However, Luxembourg is very expensive. Lithuania is a little faster than other countries. I would suggest going into Europe is always a good idea. Investing into Europe, we are the biggest single market in the world. Obviously, Europe is a place to be for a successful company. However, a company really needs to make a very quick, a certain decision on coming to Europe. It would not be just pointing at the map saying, oh, I have had a nice vacation in London, so I go to the UK. That would probably not be the best idea. There is a lot of field study to do, and I would always say a company that is outside of Europe, let's say in Asia or in Africa or Latin America, and they are not very familiar with the European way of doing business, they should always find someone in Europe who is guiding them through certain processes. Otherwise, they get completely lost. No one knows that certain regulators would not accept an application in English, while others are happy to say English is our official language. Of course, bring it in English. So there is a lot of one-on-one discussion needed to finally find a right way. But if you have established the company within Europe and you have been regulated in Europe, it's just fantastic to go into certain markets, and then it is very easy because we have this passporting and a single market. Always being up to speed on the newest regulation. AML Directive 5 is coming into place in the next 16 to 18 months, and there are a few changes to it. And I think GDPR coming into place in 10 days really changes the industry and how companies have to engage with it. It's just not enough to say, I have read it and I'm fine with it. There are so many so-called consultants going out there saying, I'll make your company GDPR compliant in 2 days. It's not happening. It's really more about a constant process and not just a 2-day workshop. So I would give the advice to always be really up to date with what is happening here in Brussels, because decisions are being made here in Brussels and then executed on a member state level. That is my advice.